Hi, welcome to another video. In this video we will talk about how to find the percentage and also how to apply this absolute reference. So first of all, my question is, what is 5% of 300? How do we find out the percentage of a number? In our day-to-day activities, there are lots of scenarios where we need to find the percentage of a number. For example, if you purchase an item from a shop, we need to give them the tax. So these are all calculated based on any percentage. So how do we find out? So in this case, what is the 5% of 300? How do we find out? Which is equal to 300 multiply by, this is a multiplication symbol, and 5%, put the percentage symbol. So 300 multiplied by 5% is equal to 15. That means 15 is the 5% of 300. If I want to make it more simple, we can write all these numbers here like 300 and then 5% in another cell. So here I can find the answer. So which is equal to 300. So just pick the cell. Earlier I wrote the number in the cell, but in this case I picked the cells only. Just multiply by 5%. So that is the answer. This is one scenario we face this every day. So next one is, what is the total of So in this case is equal to 300 plus 15. So imagine a scenario like I purchase an item of 300 and 5% is the tax I need to pay. So 15 is actually the tax. The total amount I need to pay is 315. Okay. Once this formula is in place, if you wish to change the numbers, yes, you can change it by typing modifying it. So what if it is 500? What if it is 3000? So those things you can apply easily. And in another scenario is like the price of an item is 3000. That company is giving a 10% discount. So how much is the discounted price? What is the discounted price? So first let me find out the 10% of 3000 equal to 3000 multiplied by 10%, and then which is equal to 3000 minus the percentage value. So we got this number 2700. So in different scenarios the question may change, the way we frame the question is different, but the answer, the way we finding out is always be the same. Okay, let me tell you another scenario where we need to apply the same formula in multiple cells and how to solve that problem. Okay, so let's say 4000, 3000, 2000, and 2000. Okay, so let's say I need to find out the 5% of all these numbers. I can do it manually by putting an equal sign for 1000 multiplied by 5% and 3000 multiplied by 5%, and which is equal to 2000 multiplied by 5%, and then I can find the total of all these numbers. It is okay for three numbers. What if the numbers are what if we have too many numbers to do that? So in order to do it manually, it is a time-consuming process. So what we can do, we can try to do the fill handle. So already I did the first one. What if I drag all the way down, but my answers are actually wrong now? So what is the issue here? If I double click here, G6 into H5, that is completely correct. And second one, if I click, it's showing G7 into H6, but I don't want H6. In this case I want H5 only, because Excel's default nature is the relative reference. By default, relative reference is there. So what is the relative reference? By default, all cell references are relative references. When I drag it, what happened across multiple cells, they change based on the relative position of the rows and columns. For example, if you copy the formulas A1 into B1, A1 plus B1 from row 1 and row 2, the formula become A2 plus B2. If I move forward, A3 plus B3, like that. So relative references are especially convenient whenever you need to repeat the same calculation across multiple rows or columns. That is true. but in our scenario I don't want one of the value h5 to change. So the relative reference thing is not applicable to one of the cells in the formula. Okay, so that is where we need to apply the absolute reference. Absolute reference, on the other hand, remain constant no matter where they are copied. To make a reference absolute, you need to use the $sign before the column letter and the row number, and I will show you later. For example, $A, $1 is an absolute reference to A1. When you copy a formula that contains an absolute references, the reference in the formula will not change. Okay, let's see. So in this case, let me go to the very first formula, and I know that I don't want this 5% to change, like h5 to change. So I need to apply the absolute reference of h5. So how do I apply it? There's a shortcut available, that is the function key F4. You know that function key F4. I need to press function key F4 on my keyboard. So let me select h5. I can highlight h5, or I can just keep the cursor somewhere close to h5. That is enough, and press F5 on my keyboard. Automatically a $sign attached to h and a $sign is attached to 5. That means h and 5, the cell is actually locked. Even if I drag it, h5 is going to stay as h5 only. So see, the second one h5 and third one also h5. And if you remember in the previous example, in this mark sheet, C4, D4 plus E4, and when I drag it, automatically it copies the formula with a relative reference. It becomes C5, D5, E5, C6, D6, E6, like that. So now in that scenario, in this scenario, I want the cells to change, but in this scenario, one of the cell I don't want to change. I want always h5 present on all the formulas. Sometimes maybe one cell, maybe two cells, sometimes a range of cells. Whatever the cells you want, just highlight it and press F4 to get the absolute reference of that one. So in the coming examples, in the coming scenarios, different scenarios, you may face this issue. We need to apply the absolute reference. Thank you for watching.